All right, so hello everybody. Today we are going to work on the lower body, so specifically the glutes, the yoga butt. One of the most functional muscles that we use in yoga. The functional part is that we're going to emphasize today, even though it's also going to make it look better and all that stuff too. So anyways, let's start in child's pose and get started. So push your hips back. Reach your arms forward. And just like any yoga practice, start to deepen your breath. And then go ahead and stretch your arms way out in front of you, hands shoulder distance. And just rock up into a tabletop pose, so hands and knees. So these guys are going to show you how it's done today. Lift your left leg behind you and just keep it like that. Get your left leg really straight. Try not to turn your hip open. And then lift your left foot about an inch higher. Just really control the movement here. And then move it an inch lower. Maybe a little more than an inch, so a couple inches at a time. Just move it up. Good, and then move it down. Good, lift it up. Good, move it down just a few more times like that. Really stabilizing your hips. Good, see if you can do this without arching your back. And turning the hips is easy to do, so pay close attention to that. Good, last two. Good, and then hold it in a neutral position, so foot is the same height as the hip. Reach your right arm forward into a handshake position. Last couple breaths. Pull through the spine, get really, really long. Take one more inhale, and release everything down, and we'll switch. So lift the right leg back. And again, stabilize through your hands, so you are still doing the work in your arms, but target the back of your body, especially the glute. All right, so as you lift it up a little bit, same idea, move it down. Try not to turn the hip open. Do that about 5 or 6 times. And really control it. So sometimes we move fast when we do this stuff, and when we move fast, we tend to go back to habits and patterns. It's possible to move your leg without using your glute. So we're trying to target the glute today instead of, say, the hamstring, for instance. Last two. Good. Next time you lift it in line with your hip, hold it. Float your left arm out in front of you. Last couple of breaths. Pull a little more space into the spine, into the ribs. Take one more breath. And set it all down. Downward facing dog. Tuck your toes and lift your hips up and back. Good. So yeah, bent knees or not, work through your arms. Fingers are strong. Open wide. Hips are pulling back a bit. And then just narrow your stance a tiny bit. So, we usually do hips width. So maybe just like a toe closer than that. And then lift your right leg back. Again, try not to open your hip. Just get your right leg really, really long. And we're going to dorsiflex the ankle. So point the toes down, push through your heel. Good. Again, don't turn the hip open. Just lower your right leg down. Lower it almost all the way to the floor. And then lift it all the way back up. Good. Do that again. Lower it down. Do it with your breath. Lift it up. Good. So inhale, lower. And exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. And then last time to lift. So keep your right leg up this time. And walk your hands back about halfway to your foot. If you can do it on your fingertips, go up to your fingertips here. And if that's going to crush your fingers, then maybe work on that another time. And maybe use blocks if you can't do that. Injuries, of course, skip it. So you're kind of in this hybrid standing split down dog. You still feel the down dog sensations. Really get that right leg long. Good. And can you feel how your left hip is pulling back a little bit? You should definitely feel this at this point. Very nice. Slowly, without moving your right leg, just walk your hands all the way back forward so you're back in your down dog split. Lift it a little bit higher. Last couple breaths. And then set it down. Good job. Switch. Lift your left leg back. And you two should feel a big difference in the two legs right now. All right. Keep the hips squared and lower your left leg down without setting it down. Now keep the tension in the hamstring, in the glute. Lift your left leg up. Good. And then lower your left leg down. A couple more times. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. The flexion of your ankle really helps. Exhale, lower. And then lift it one more time. Hold it this time. Again, try to keep your hips squared. That's the hardest part. Walk your hands back about halfway. Fingertips if you can. Otherwise, palms are fine. Push through your arms kind of like down dog. Get that right heel very heavy. Hips are squared. Left leg so long. Good. And these guys make it look easy. If you're having trouble at home, use your blocks. It's okay. This doesn't have to be perfect. All right. Keep everything the same except your arms. Walk them back out to downward facing dog and plant your palms. Last couple of breaths. Get that left leg any amount longer that you can. And then set your left foot next to your right. Feet hips distance. Walk your hands back to your feet so you're at the very back of your mat in a forward fold. Just a couple of breaths to hold your elbows. Maybe swing a little left, a little right. Shift a little weight into the fronts of your feet. Let your neck really relax. And change the cross of your arms so the opposite arm shifts in front. And maybe move your elbows forward and back. Just little suggestive things to help you feel the mechanics of your shoulders. Even though we're targeting the legs, we still want to feel every part of the puzzle, every piece of the puzzle. All right, release your hands down, bend your knees a lot, and reach the arms down by your sides. And then bend your knees more, right? So reach the arms behind you. Yeah, bend your knees a whole lot. And then chair pose. I want you to do the chair pose with your feet this distance. Your knees are the same distance as your feet. Try to look down and see that they're parallel, pretty much parallel to one another. Good. And then stretch through your arms. Really good. So even though you're stretching through your arms, can you relax through your traps a little bit? And keep your arms up and slowly stand all the way up. Reach higher. Good. And then come right back to your chair pose. Bend your knees. Still working through your arms. Really nice. And then do it again. Just stand up slowly. A couple more times. Inhale, bend the knees. Keep the arms up. Hips pull way back. Good. Exhale, stand up. 2 more times. Inhale, pull your hips back, Utkatasana. And exhale, stand up. Reach a little higher last time. Keep the length in your trunk as you sink down last time. Last 3 breaths. Nice, you guys. It's like an accordion, stretching longer. 2. Last 1 to do. And then stand up, reach up a little higher, and then place the hands on your hips. All right, take a big step up or 2 up to the front of your mat. Separate your feet a little bit wider. We're going to go into a yogi squat. Squat your hips down. All right, so you can always elevate your heels on something at home if this isn't working out for your heels. If they're lifting off the ground, for instance, you could separate your feet wider or put a blanket underneath your heels. But now we're just going to do the full range of motion in our squat. Reach your arms up. Interlace your fingers. Have your index finger pointing up. Keep your knees open and stand all the way up. Good. And then exhale, squat all the way down. And inhale, stand. Exhale, squat. And just a few more. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And then one more time. Inhale. And then exhale. Squat and hold it about halfway. So as you hold it halfway, keep lengthening your trunk. Nice. See that your knees aren't caving in. It's okay to tremble a little bit. Slowly stand all the way up. Swing the hands behind your back. Interlace your fingers. Look at your feet to parallel them. Take an inhale, lift your chest, and then fold forward. Pull the hands off your back. Little shoulder stretch here. Check your neck again. So we keep coming back to the breath, whether it's a 30-minute practice or a 3-hour practice. The breath is ultimately the key to liberate the mind. Go ahead and switch the interlacing of your fingers. You could go one finger over. You just switch the thumb that's on top. Let it feel a little different. Good, and then set your hands down. Lengthen out your spine. So either have your hands on the floor or on your legs. Pull your heart forward. Good, now stay long like this. Put the hands on the floor and step your left foot to the back of your mat. Crescent pose. You're going to reach your arms straight up. Nice, and for today, I want you to bend the back knee. Once you get balanced enough, put a nice big bend in your back knee. Good. And then try to pick up your frontal hip points. So you kind of feel like your belly button's shifting, kind of crunching and squeezing upward. Beautiful. And then see if you can straighten your back leg any amount without losing that same feeling around your navel, right in your pelvis. So good, you guys. Can you sink any amount deeper through your right leg? And then counter that. We call that rebounding the energy straight up through the arms. And sure, if you guys at home want to lean back a little bit, you're welcome to lean back. Last 3. Good. In 2. I want you to start to lean forward in 1, and then standing splits, hands to the ground, lift your back leg up. So we almost flirted with this pose earlier. Can you feel the same action? So that right hip hugs back a little bit, and your left leg is entirely straight. I don't care if you bend the right knee. In fact, I bend my right knee. That's why I say that. That left leg has no need to really bend. Beautiful. Take one more inhale. Say goodbye. Set your left foot down next to your right. Stay about hips distance. Flat back inhale. Lengthen the spine. And then stay long. Right foot steps back. We'll do crescent on the other side. Reach your arms up. Once you feel balanced, I want you to bend your back knee a little more than usual. I mean, we usually teach this pose here with the bend in the back knee, but this time bend it more. And then that's going to allow you to pick up your frontal hip points. You might be a little more difficult to bend it more, but that's okay. Good. Now, after you've picked up your frontal hip points, then start to work your back leg straighter. It could be straight, but straighter doesn't mean it has to be all the way straight. And then take a few more breaths and just send all the energy up through the ribs, the sides of your body. If you want to tilt back, don't lose what you've done. Come on, bend a little bit deeper, a little bit lower. Gorgeous. Lean forward, take your standing splits, hands to the ground, lift your back leg up, let your head hang. Nice. And I'm kind of a fan of you can break the rules if you know the rules, right? So, if you open the hip, it's not the end of the world, but know what the difference is between opening and closing. All right. The right toes will point straight down if the foot's in flexion and you're in a true split. Now, let's take one more breath. And set your right foot down. Step back to a plank position. 1 foot at a time. So, a little bit of upper body. Not going to hold it for long. Pull your heart forward. Use your strong arms. Spin your hands out a little bit. Hug your inner thighs in. Shift forward a bit so you feel your fingertips. Good. Go ahead and breathe in and then lower slowly all the way to your belly. Keep your hands where they are. In fact, maybe slide them back an inch so they're kind of under your elbows. Lift your right leg an inch. Yeah, you can lift it higher than an inch if you want, but make your right leg as long as possible. Good. And then keep your right leg up and find a little baby cobra in your spine. You're not using your hands too much. You're really using the hands to isometrically pull back. And then lift your head a little bit, pull your heart forward. Good. And then switch. Bring your head down, lift your left foot an inch or higher, make your left leg really straight, and then pull your heart forward. Elbows are in, head lifts a little bit. Good. Now set the foot down, set the head down. Let's do that a couple times with our breath, right? Alternating sides. So right leg lifts, inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, release everything. Left leg lifts, inhale. Exhale, release. Right leg, inhale. Exhale, relax. Left leg, inhale. Exhale, relax. Hold it. Lift both feet an inch. Lift your heart. Float your hands up a little bit. Feel your back body really strong. All right, set your feet down. Tuck your toes. Press straight up to plank as you breathe in. Downward facing dog as you breathe out. All right, let's take a big inhale through the nose. And open the mouth. Let it go. Down dog split, lift your right leg back again. Yes, again, turn that right hip down. And then go ahead and walk your hands back that same amount. We already did that kind of pulsation thing. So just go ahead and walk those hands back. Fingertips are good. It's okay if not. And then go ahead and walk them back a little bit more. Bend your standing knee this time a lot more as you walk your hands back. Yeah, get into more of that standing split feeling in your bottom leg, but keep it bent, right? And then bend your knee enough to pull your heart forward. Think warrior 3 with your knee bent. And then do warrior 3 with your knee bent. Okay. So that could be arms forward. It could be down by your sides. Usually I put the hands at my heart just to make things a little less abrasive in my spine. Nice. Now can you feel that left hip drawing back? That's counterclockwise. And then maybe start to straighten your bottom leg. Hey, if it feels okay, go for it. Last couple breaths. Yeah, not too bad. Set your hands down on the ground. Try not to set your right foot down. Slowly walk the hands all the way back out to the front of your mat. And then step right between your two hands. Good. Spin your back foot flat. Warrior 2. Circle the left arm open so the left arm's behind you. Right arm's in front of you. So it's a warrior 2 just like any other day, but we're just going to focus on the legs a little bit more. So for today, lift your toes off the ground, right? And seal the inner arch of your right foot. Good. And then seal the outer arch of your back foot. And then if you want to let the toes go, that's fine. You know, we don't want to do the toes all the time, but it's nice to kind of flirt with that. Then bend your right knee that full 90-degree position and retract the shoulders and the inner thighs. So when we talk about the core, it's not just your stomach muscles. Your core is the insides of your legs too. That's part of your core. Squeeze that part. Good. Last couple of breaths. Sink a little bit deeper. Good. And then straighten your right leg. Triangle pose. You can cheat your back foot in a little bit if you want. Reach way past your foot and float your right hand down. Keep some weight in your legs. Keep the same actions in your feet. So you're still sealing the inner arch of your right foot and the outer arch of your back foot. If you're tight, if you know you're tight, just kind of lean back a little bit. You can almost think about back bending here. If you know you're tight. If you're not that tight, don't do that. It's a little different for all of us. Good. Place the left hand on your hip. Look down in front of your right foot. Bend your right knee. Now I want you to keep your right knee bent today. Walk your right hand forward a little bit and lift your back leg. So use the block if you want to use the block, but keep the right knee bent as much as you can tolerate. And keep that right hip pulling back. And reach your left arm up. Get a little more height. And can you tuck that right hip back? And only if you feel that, start to straighten your bottom leg. So you're in this really expressive half moon pose, but it's coming from the power of your legs. Nice, you guys. Set your left hand down, standing split, square your left hip. And then this time, I want you to focus on the standing knee. All right, we're going to bend both knees though. Inhale, bend both knees, standing leg is strong. And then exhale, straighten both legs lifted up. Hips stay level. Inhale, try it again. Bend your knees, get way low. And then exhale, lift back up. Really controlled. Last one, really good. Inhale, bend both knees. And then exhale, come back up. Last deep breath. And then set your left foot next to your right. Chair pose, bend the knees, sink down, reach your arms up. Pull your hips away from your fingertips. Pull the hands to your heart and twist to the left. To the left today. So hook your right elbow outside of your left knee, outside of your left thigh, just so we have a fresh leg that we can work with. Good. Now I want you to take a moment to balance into your left foot. Right? Lift your right foot off the ground. Right? If you're at home and that's impossible, just lift your heel. But if you can do it, lift your whole foot, lift the heel up to your butt. So you're going to feel that same action that we just did in the right leg, now in the left leg. And then can you drop step your left foot to the very back edge of your mat and land as softly as possible? So you're in this long twist, crescent twist. Give it a few more deep breaths. Pull the sternum forward. Nice. Give me one more inhale. And then set your hands down. Step back to plank position. Good. Go ahead and take a big inhale. And then lower to chaturanga. Let's take a vinyasa. A couple of vinyasas won't kill anything. Inhale. Open up chest, heart, and lungs. And then downward facing dog. Good job. All right. Let's lift the left leg back. Let's move on to side 2. We'll keep those hips nice and level. Go ahead and walk your hands about halfway back. Get that right heel as heavy as possible. That's your checkpoint. And then start to bend your standing knee more as you walk your hands further back. Just the standing knee. Left leg stays really straight. So bend that right knee. Think warrior 3 with your knee bent. So when you're ready, you'll start to come up to the fingertips, pull your heart forward, and eventually float your hands up. Nice. And a lot of this stuff, it can be kind of hard to do, but it's easy to try. And honestly, the trying is where a lot of the benefits come in. And if you want to straighten that bottom leg, just like Roger's showing you, you can start to do that. Good. And then set your hands down. Keep everything the same, except your hands. Walk them all the way back out to the front of your mat. You're back in a 3-legged dog. Take your inhale. Step right between your 2 hands. Spin your back heel flat on the ground. Warrior 2, circle the right arm open so that it's behind you. And again, we're just going to lift the toes for about 5 breaths. Lift your toes and seal the arches of your feet. Go for the inner edge of your front foot. Exactly. And the outer edge of your back foot. And once you feel that, let your toes relax. Yeah, and then you're in the pose. Just a few more breaths to relax. So if you're a doer, like a lot of us are that tend to like power yoga, try to let go a little bit in these poses. Right? Try to do less. All right, just sink a little bit deeper. Take one more inhale and then straighten your left leg. Triangle pose, you definitely want to shorten the stance. Some of you that are new, reach as far as you can. Float your left hand down your leg and then reach up through your right hand. Good. And just go over the same feelings in the feet. Feel the arches of your feet. A lot of people will come to yoga flat-footed. And it's difficult. Yoga is a very difficult practice with flat feet, but they actually increase the arches of their feet by lifting their toes a lot. Right? I've seen people really fix that problem before. All right, take a moment to look down in front of your toes. No rush. When you're ready, right, place the right hand on the hip. Look down and bend your left knee. Start to walk your left hand forward. Keep the knee bent today as you lift your right leg up. And then before you straighten that bottom leg, reach your right arm up, right? The strength is in your left butt, right? The glute max. Can you pull the left hip back? That's counterclockwise without torquing your knee. And then, and only then, start to straighten the leg if it feels good. And then blossom like a flower. Reach. So nice. Last deep breath. Set both hands down on the ground, standing splits. All right, so you're going to keep your hips squared. Keep that same rotation of your left hip counterclockwise. Take an inhale. Bend both knees as you exhale. Crouch down. Good. Inhale, lift all the way up. 2 more like that. Exhale, squeeze it in. Inhale, come up. And exhale, come low. And then last time to inhale, lift, last breath. Set your right foot next to your left. Sink down. Chair pose. Heels are heavy. Reach your arms up. All right, pull the hands to your heart, twist left, twist right. I lied. Hook your left elbow outside of your right thigh. And this is kind of one of those balancing postures that require strength as well. So when you're ready, take your time, shift the weight into your right foot. You guys at home might just lift your left heel. If you lift your whole foot, lift it up towards your butt. The same action, it's the right hip clockwise, drop step your left foot to the very back edge of your mat. And you can always adjust your stance. You don't have to live with where the foot landed. And take a few breaths. Turn the ribs, left ribs under, right ribs open. Back leg strong and straight. Breath moving through the posture. All right, give me one more deep inhale, say goodbye. Hands to the ground on your exhale, plank pose. Take an inhale, shift forward into the fingertips. Lower through chaturanga on your exhale. Inhale, open up chest, heart, and lungs. Downward facing dog on your exhale. Good. Take a couple deep breaths. All right, walk your hands to the back of your mat. Then bring the hands to your shins. Pull the heart forward. Place the hands on your hips. Stand all the way up. Step your left foot forward, turn to the right. Last couple poses. Pivot your left foot in. Good. Open your arms. Take the hands behind your back. Take your favorite shoulder stretch. So if you don't want to interlace the fingers, do something like holding your elbows, maybe connect your palms, and fold forward. Nice. Press your feet down. Engage those inner thighs. Again, the core. Not just your middle, not just your abs. Your core is way deeper than your abs. It's your whole midline of your body. Squeeze your midline. Good. Set your hands down. Walk your hands over to your right leg. Take a few breaths just to enjoy a nice stretch. Nice job. Switch. Crawl over to your left leg. Just a little bit of love to the left side. Which is really what this practice is. Just paying attention to the body. It's like 30 seconds of attention to the left leg just to show you care. All right, come back to center. Heel toe your feet a foot closer. Last standing pose. Goddess pose. Bend your knees. Pivot your feet away from one another. Right? So right toes to the back, left toes to the front. Push your knees open. You can use your forearms if you want, or hands. Push the knees open. Good. And then go ahead and hold the stance. Wrap your right arm underneath your left. Lift your elbows up. Garudasana arms. Eagle arms. Goddess legs. Last little moment of glute strength. Heels are heavy to activate the glutes. Beautiful, you guys. Open your arms. Switch the arm that was underneath. Same stretch. Last few breaths. Come on, really get down there. It's the last little moment of intensity. Come on, last two breaths. Sink a little bit deeper. You've got this. And then stand all the way up. Open your arms. Place the hands on your hips. Step to the front of your mat. And squat all the way down. Have a seat. All right, let's lie down on our backs. Bridge pose. Set your feet down. And lift your hips up. So take the hands underneath you. Interlace your fingers. Kind of snuggle the shoulders underneath you a little bit so you have a little more space. And then try to activate the tops of your legs. Push down and forward with your feet. And then just take about 5 or 6 breaths. Good. If you want to go taller on the last few breaths, go for it. If you want to do 10 back bends in a row at home, press pause. Come back to it in a second. These guys are just going to take this one. Let's take one more inhale. And release all the way down. Hug the knees into your chest. Happy baby pose. Catch the outer edges of your feet. Plug the knees down. And then just a quick thread the needle. Left foot down, right ankle above your left knee. Last couple breaths. Nice. Now keep your shape you're in. Just open your arms to the sides like a T, and then let that right foot fall all the way to the left in this shape. Yeah. Nice. If it feels okay, you can take your left hand and kind of push against your top knee. Push it away from you. Or if you want to pull it towards you, it's just a different sensation. Nice. Come back to center to switch. Sit your right foot down. Cross your left ankle above your right knee. Just a few breaths. I find that about 25, maybe 30 minutes minimum is it's kind of the bare minimum of the amount of time we need to really find kind of a full comprehensive practice. Now we're right at that point. So these guys should be feeling pretty good right about now. Go ahead and take the arms open to the sides. Let the feet fall over to the other side. Take a few breaths. If you want to use your hands, you can. All right, and then come back to center and hug the knees into your chest. Give yourself a huge hug. Curl the nose to the knees. Take a massive inhale. Hold it in and squeeze. When you're ready, release the air, release the pose. Rest all the way down onto your back. Shavasana. Close your eyes and relax. Namaste.